Clay Stevenson is preparing for a journey he never expected to take.
I'm anxious, pretty anxious. And it's surreal. It's like a movie. It feels like I'm not in real life.
He's about to travel from his home on the Gold Coast to try to see his 20-year-old son Patrick in Syria.
I'm heard it's safer than it has been, so I'm hoping that's still the case.
Clay's son Patrick has spent more than 6 months in a Syrian prison on a charge of premeditated murder.
I don't really have any words. I'm hoping that my son didn't do what he's been accused of, but I don't know how I'm going to handle seeing his condition. Yeah, I just don't think that he's going to look like the same boy I know.
His charge is Article 535, intentional or premeditated murder. And my understanding is that charge is for capital punishment, and that it is merciful, it'll be quick. But we really hope that's not the case. Desperately hope. These are the clothes I'm going to send with Clay. It's not much, but we're not sure what the prison guards will or will not allow.
Since their son's arrest in December, Clay's ex-wife Angela has struggled to get answers from the Australian and Syrian governments.
I don't have a charge sheet, not a single document that has come from Syria explaining the charges.
Patrick's family is grappling with how their son ended up in Syria. A psychiatric report shows Patrick grew up with learning disorders, ADHD, and probable autism spectrum disorder. In 2023, he found Islam. His conversion was posted online.
Patrick converted to Islam about the end of Year 12. He seemed to fall out with his friends who were partying and drinking, and he really liked the company of men at the mosque, and that, I think the chanting and the prayers were peaceful to him and helped quieten his mind.
Patrick joined a youth group at the Wurundjeri Mosque on the Gold Coast. They spent weekends boxing and training. He took on the name Saifullah, meaning Sword of God, and last year posted hardline videos to social media and lectures by slain al-Qaeda cleric Anwar al-Awlaki. What are your questions for the youth group?
Yeah, I would like to know, did they influence Patrick in any way and why?
In a statement, the leader of the Muslim Youth Gold Coast group said Patrick's travel to Syria was not supported by any group or organisation here. We created MYGC to help young people, both Muslim and non-Muslim, steer away and overcome the negative challenges they face daily and give them the correct understanding of Islam, free from the stereotypes and misinformation that can appear online or in the media.
This is Patrick's room before he moved out. All his guitars he used to play. He moved out probably 2 months before he went overseas. Yeah, just moved in with friends, Muslim friends from the mosque, as far as I know.
And did you have much contact with him after that?
No, just every now and then he'd ring up. But yeah.
On the 10th of October, Patrick boarded a flight to Bali. He didn't tell his parents at the time. They said the first they knew something was wrong was when Queensland Police security and counter-terrorism officers showed up, asking about suspicious posts. The police searched Patrick's room in Clay's home.
I was ringing him and he ended up contacting me saying he was in Bali, and then that couple of weeks went by, and then I was ringing him and he said, actually Dad, I need to tell you I'm in Syria. It's just like, wow, what's going through his head to be in Syria and who helped him get there. But yeah, I was shocked to find out that he was there.
Patrick shared pictures of his new life in Idlib province in Syria's northwest, the heartland of the country's rebel group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, who were previously aligned with al-Qaeda. After nearly 14 years of civil war, they toppled the Assad regime in 2024 and formed Syria's new government.
The fact that someone has travelled now, in peacetime, after the fall of the regime, after the war, it's really unusual. Patrick's case raises significant questions for security agencies, particularly since we know that he was on their radar.
Clay pleaded with Patrick in voice messages to come home. His son refused.
Dad, please do not buy a plane ticket. I'm definitely not getting on it. Yeah, that's not good. Thank you.
On New Year's Eve, Patrick was arrested in the Syrian town of Darkush over the fatal shooting of another Australian man. Syrian authorities allege Patrick Stevenson fired at least 8 shots from an AK-47, killing the Australian inside his own home. Patrick's parents were told the investigation initially looked at whether the killing was accidental or if their son had links to the Islamic State group. Ultimately, both were ruled out and he was charged with murder.
We've been advised by DFAT that he had made a confession at that time to a judge or the police after being questioned, and we don't know whether or not that is in English or Arabic, or if their confession is written or witnessed.
Patrick's alleged victim was another Australian convert, Abdullah Burgess. Abdullah Burgess was 40 years old and used to be known as Glenn. Before he moved to Syria, he worked as a tree lopper and lived on a macadamia farm with his wife and daughters here in northern New South Wales, just across the border from Patrick. Abdullah prayed with the region's small Muslim community, including Shazrana.
Was very soft-spoken, gentle sort of guy, not too talkative, just used to keep it to himself, but was still nice and polite to other, and bit of smiles on his face when you talk to him. About a couple of years ago, I think 2024, we heard that he's leaving Australia and going to Malaysia for his family and everything, and wants to learn a bit more about his faith and culture.
Last year, Mr. Burgess and his family spent months in Afghanistan, documenting their travels online. They then moved to Darkush in Syria, where Abdullah eventually took Patrick under his wing. It's not known what brought the family to Syria, and 730 doesn't suggest they had links to extremist groups. What happens to Patrick could be influenced by a third Australian, Abdullah's widow. The Syrian legal system can allow a widow to intervene and spare the accused the death penalty in exchange for payment. Abdullah's widow declined to speak with the ABC. Patrick's family has engaged lawyer Bernadette Zayden to represent them in Australia and internationally.
We want to make sure that he does have a fair trial and a trial that is transparent, and we want him before an independent judiciary, one that is not associated with any administration or with any armed forces. This is a real concern whether he will be afforded that, and this is where we call on the Australian government to ensure that any trial that is conducted by international standards.
We're giving support to both of those families. Legal processes will take their course overseas, of course, and that is appropriate. I feel for the families of the person who's lost their life, and we're connected with them and providing support for them. We're also providing support for the family of the person who's been charged.
Patrick's future could also rely on Australia's fragile relationship with Syria. Any death penalty would require sign-off from Syria's president, a former Al-Qaeda-aligned commander whose group was declared a terrorist organisation by Australia.
HTS, the group that is now running the government, is still a sanctioned entity in Australia. It's prescribed as a terrorist group, which means that the Australian government really is not able to engage at all with what's going on.
Last week, Clay left the Gold Coast to deliver a psychiatric report to a Syrian court.
This is the medical documents I've got to deliver to Syria. I'll be there tomorrow.
He finally had the chance to see his son.
He spent a lot of money on that. That's his retainer.
Back home, Angela keeps more bags for Patrick packed in her bedroom, ready in case he ever returns. There's a lot of hope packed into this suitcase, Angela.
Yeah, there is a lot of hope packed into these suitcases. Some people have said, you shouldn't have them in your room, and don't have them downstairs, and so you look at them all the time. But I've got to have some hope, otherwise without hope we are probably doomed.